This is a short video just to go over some tips for admins of Club Event. I've logged into a club here, one of my test clubs. I just want to show you around the interface a little bit and what you can do as an admin. There's a number of other videos on creating tickets and they go into much more depth, so I'm not going to go into too much depth, just to show you some pieces. So just looking at the initial screen, we've got a list of events that are in the future. You'll see that one has a green tick on it. Now that's because I'm an admin, but I have also logged into that session or booked into that session. So if we click on that, you can see there's a person joined here and it's me. So that's why there's a green tick there. Also, if you come back to here, if I click on booked, it'll limit my view to only those that I have booked into. So you can see the one with the green tick. Obviously in my main club there are hundreds of practice sessions going on at the moment, so it's quite a handy tab, the booked tab. If I'm a user and not an admin, I'm only going to see the ones that I'm able to see, which is still a long list, so again the booked tab is useful for them. Looking into the details I see on this ticket, now as an admin I get to see a lot more down here, not just who's joined, but I get to manage them. So over here there's a little menu, and if I click on that I can see that a list, there's only one person, but I can show them as a list rather than as a blob. I can send reminders to everyone. I can also export the data, and you can also do that for more than one event at a time. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And that gives you a spreadsheet with all of the ticket details on, and that's typically used for creating entry forms for big competitions, but it's very useful at this time just to record who was at the club for COVID rules and regulations. Click out of that. I can also click onto the user themselves and I can do various things with this person. So going back to the blob, I can see he's only got one ticket. That's what the one there is. If he had two tickets, then it would say two here, even though there's one blob, because this is counting the number of tickets rather than the number of people who've bought tickets, if that makes sense. So I've got one ticket, but I can move Steve to cancelled, which will drop him down into this list. I can send a message to him, which is very simple, like this. That'll come from the club event email, but it will go directly to Steve. I can manage his tickets. So again, I can click in here and I can do various things with the tickets, edit details on those tickets, or I can resend him his join details if he's lost the email that he was sent when he booked the ticket. So various things you can do to people from the admin interface. Now as I have joined this event, I've got a my action, so I, as Steve, can send a comment which will end up with the event administrator, and you'll find as administrator they'll end up, there's another little blob will appear here for comments, so you can go and look at all of the comments that have been attached to this event. Moving up here, there's nothing else really extra for an admin on this screen. Obviously users don't get the chance to add new events, but I can click here also to send a message, and this is very similar to this, but this will allow me to send a message to both accepted and declined lists, whereas down here obviously I'm only sending to the one list. I want to just edit the event quickly and show you a few details in there. Actually, I don't really want to do that. This is all covered in another video, so there's nothing particularly relevant here for an admin that I haven't told you about in another video. Let's cancel that. Now if I cancel the event, that doesn't delete it, but it will cancel it, and you'll be able to send a message to everyone saying the event has been cancelled. It'll then stay on the system until you delete the event. So it's a two-stage process to cancel an event. So just coming out of events and just seeing what we can do with multiple events, if you click the logo, you'll see the logo turns to a little tick and we get a new menu button here. So I can select two events or more, many more, and I get to do various things with these events. The first thing I do is I can clear the selections. Very good. Next I can do hide or show events. So you could create events and have them hidden from users until a certain time, and now you can click show and that'll show all of the events that you've selected here. So that's the equivalent of setting the show events on Web and iCal feed within the event settings itself. I can always open and close events, so if you're familiar with the event opening dates and event closing dates, you can force those to happen. So close events will set the closing date for yesterday, which means that no one can buy tickets as of now, because yesterday was the last day to buy tickets. Or you can open events. If you set the open events for sometime in the future, you can say, right, open them now, which essentially brings that date back to today so people can start buying tickets for it from now. I can always export the joined. Now, this is great at the moment because if you've got all the sessions running for a week and there's sort of one archer in each session, it's great to select all of this week's sessions and export a spreadsheet of this week's activity at the range, and you can store that away, archive that for future reference should there, heaven forbid, not be a contact trace requirement. Or I can delete selected events. Now, a warning at the moment, that will only delete events that don't have people joined on them, because obviously you're trying to delete an event in the future. If someone's on that event, we're not going to let you delete it from here. You'll have to go and do that manually on per each event. So that's a whole new menu that came in a couple of versions ago. Hopefully that's useful. Right, quick buzz through the settings here. Various things. Let's start at the bottom with tags. Now you can have tags. At the moment, I guess event tags are more pertinent, and various tags for members only, open events, whatever you want. You can create a tag. What this does help you with at the moment is if you are embedding the event list through an iframe, you can select on that iframe to say, actually only show me events of this or with this tag type. So you can have a bunch of integrations saying, well, here are my practice sessions, here are my competition sessions, etc., etc. So that's quite useful. And we'll probably be adding more features around tags to allow you to multiple select based on a tag, rather than having to click the logo on each of the events. Putting tags on contacts is, I guess, more useful in invitation events, because you can tag all of your coaches and you can create an invitation event saying please invite all coaches to this event. So that's not what people are using at the moment, but you might go on to use that in the future. So come out of tags. Just a quick look at contacts. So I've only got 2 contacts in my system here, the test one, but if you're using ticketed events, then there's no need to have any of your club members as contacts. Typically you might have your admins as contacts, but some clubs have taken to allowing only contacts to buy tickets, which means you need to upload all of your contacts into all of your club members as contacts into here. They don't need to use the app, they don't need to do anything themselves, but you need to have them as a contact in here, and you can use the import system here to import a whole bunch of them, or you can use the plus button here to import them one at a time from your phone contact details if you have them there. So there's a whole bunch on managing contacts, and I think I'll do a separate video on that at some stage. Just look at Fred though. Fred has a little envelope, which means he's an email only contact, and all that means is any contact with him will be via email. And that's the sort of default standard setting for contact. And you see I don't have much details about him here. Look at Steve, he's got a little mobile symbol there, which means he's a user of the mobile app, and actually he's an owner. So if you had an admin, you'd have an admin blob here as well. That's just distinguishing Steve. But it also means that Steve, as he's using the mobile app, the system will send him mobile notifications for reminders of events, as well as email, whereas of course Fred will only ever get emails. Now when you created a contact, they can join the club, they can install the application, they can click join club, and all they need to join is the club code for your club, and you, the administrator, will get a notification, and you'll get a a little blob that comes up here, which if you click will allow you to accept his join request into the club. You're wondering what your club code is. Let's just go back to settings quickly, and you see here, right here, it tells you that my short code for this club is King. So that's what you need to tell users if they want to join to use the app. So now we're in settings. Let's have a quick look down here. Most of these are fairly obvious, I would hope. The banner is something you'll see on top of your events, well, this URL here. So you'll see the banner up there. The banner's a link to another file. You'll notice I'm using a Overton one just for testing. But the banner is a link, it's not an upload, and that's because banners are typically large and we don't want to be sending that to and from the database every time we send data. Now the events list URL, you notice it says you can change this. Why would you want to change it? Now this is the sort of standalone page that we give you for your events. Now you can embed that in an iframe on your website, and there's details of how to do that on our website. And if you were to do that, then you would want to put your own page here instead of this stock page, because then when a user gets sent an email, the email say go see events here, it'll use your page rather than that page. So that's why you might change that. And a lot of these defaults are again in other videos, so I'm not going to go over them too much here. The pertinent ones here is this one is vital. It's misunderstood somewhat. If you're doing a ticket event, you need this ticked because otherwise people will never see the web page in which to buy the tickets. Right, here are your ticket details. New stuff recently, we've added this restrict tickets to club members. You still need to have them visible on a website, but what that means is when they enter their email address to buy a ticket, it has to be a contact we've just seen in the club, otherwise it won't let them buy a ticket. Also a request was, people buying tickets into multiple sessions and sort of hogging the range. So here you can set how many tickets someone can buy in a day, in the same day. Going down to paid events, if you wanted to do paid events, you need to set up a Stripe connection. This is quite simple and just involves you going through a form on Stripe which sets you up with a Stripe account. You need your bank sort details and account code, such that we can then take credit card payments on your behalf, and the way that happens is the money goes straight into your Stripe account and then your bank account 7 days later. Doesn't touch Club Event because we're sort of associated with you, but the money doesn't come through us. What happens is, because we're associated, we'll take our 0.6% transaction fee. Stripe will take their 1.4 plus 20p transaction fee, and the money will go to your bank account within 7 days is the default setting. Other stuff down here, just at the bottom, generate support key. Now if you had an issue, you can generate a support key, and that means you can give it to us and we can use that key to log in as you. So we use your email address and the support key rather than your password, so we can get in as if we were you and sort of look at what's going on with your account. Change plan, well, that's not a lot of people doing that at the moment because the Plus plan is free, and you don't want to delete your club because the system is fantastic, I hope. But please contact us if you've got questions. So that's a very, very brief run through of settings and what an admin can or can't do.